people, welcome to my channel. We are discussing intimacy aspects, all of which require a great degree of conscious engagement on the parties, both the parties involved here, the man and the woman. I covered this to an extent in the previous one. And for all of you new listeners, viewers coming to my channel, please go through all these ones because I'm covering it as I'm getting downloads about each one in different ways. So there is no one size fits all here. For example, when you talk of Devganas matching, the traditional rule goes you should match Devgana nakshatras, which Devgana, Manusha with Manusha and Rakshasa with Rakshasa. Why? Because it creates a certain propensity of match that is not available in others. And we shall see this as we go along step by step. There's already a lot of material on the playlist if you want to go through it. But now we are exploring Mrigashira, but in Gemini. That means to say the next two padas of Gemini. All Mars ruled nakshatras, Mrigashira, Chitra, and Dhanishta fall half in the earth sign, half in the air sign. So we are talking about the next two padas in Mrigashira, which is in Gemini. So we shall see that in a minute. And in this dynamic, you will see more of the factors of kindness and factors of freedom shown there. Mrigashira desires a lot of freedom to be. That's the nakshatra characteristics. You can't play with any of that any more than you can do with others. So freedom versus kindness. Kindness comes to Hasta. Why Hasta sits in Virgo? Although it's a Devgana, it can become highly critical of things. Sort of micro-examining the partner. You're doing this and you're not doing that and all kinds of things go on. But Hasta Nakshatra can become very critical. And there is a lesson for Hasta Nakshatra people in that. In the sense, you need to embody your goal setting or whatever you want to desire in other places of your life. Don't bring it to the bedroom. Don't bring it to intimacy. Okay? Don't try to micro-examine the partner like you tend to do other things. Take your micro-examination to your work, probably. That's a good quality to have. But it is never the case that you can take what you take to work as an attitude and bring it down between intimacy of partners. Just because you have micro-examination quality, analysis, Hasta Nakshatra makes extremely good engineers, for example. That attitude may be good at work, fine. But that attitude necessarily does not work or come to play properly when it comes to intimacy. Intimacy requires softness. Look at all the qualities there: nurturing, kindness, freedom, allowance, empathy, vulnerability. Hasta Nakshatra will think, what are you talking about? I want the details of that kindness. I want the details of that freedom. What exactly do you mean by freedom, Arun? That's simply not the way things work. Okay? And I'm giving principles of moon here in this series, but apply the same principle of Devgana matching to Mercury and Venus as well. Suppose if it's Mercury placed in Hasta or Mercury placed in Mrigashira, your mind and mental qualities will have that kind of attribute. If it is Venus, your spouse may have, especially Venus in Navamsa, your spouse may be having this kind of characteristics. Apply the same principles because nakshatra is the same. Depending upon which planet Mercury, Venus, Moon is placed here, especially in the Navamsa. Navamsa is considered dominant in terms of marriage and partnerships in Jyotish. Have a look through that. You might embody those kind of qualities. Fine. There's nothing wrong with any quality being there, provided it is known, provided it is understood. These things we are not educated in. That's the only thing I see. This is why I bring in everything in this channel with respect to education. Just look at the whole thing first. Don't analyze it piece by piece. That would be a mistake in Jyotish. Now let us see how kindness and freedom, these two dominant aspects, play out in Hasta Nakshatra. Let's get into the details. So now we come to lady having Mrigashira Nakshatra, moon, and the guy having Hasta Nakshatra, moon. in the fourth position, not necessarily the first and fourth house. It can be, but it can be any other house as well. We're talking about the fourth position of moon of the man, distance, that means 4 signs later, 3 signs later, and then Mrigashira moon in ladies. Therefore, this is a 4-10 dynamic, which means to say, going counterclockwise, this is the fourth position, and going counterclockwise from his moon, this will be a 10th position, isn't it? From here, if you count counterclockwise, it will be 10th position. So this is a 4-10 dynamic playing out. Now, first of all, Mrigashira in Gemini will have a lot of exploratory tendencies. It's an air sign. Let's just see the zodiac for a minute here. Therefore, she will have a lot of mental activity, lot of exploratory tendencies in the mind. She needs freedom to explore. She needs freedom to be who she is. She needs to speak about a lot of things. It's a Mercury sign, so there'll be a lot of communication involved. She needs to communicate to be able to be seen. I'm talking in intimacy aspects only here. We are just talking about intimacy and synastry in Vedic astrology. So, her place in this relationship will be more of a communicator. Okay? Hasta Nakshatra, in his case, he is more grounded because it's Virgo, it's the 6th sign. It can become very critical. He can become very focused in health matters, going to the gym and yoga and whatnot. He can become very scared of illnesses. Moon in Hasta, they are always very, psychologically triggered with their health issues because Virgo is the 6th sign of health, bad health. Anything bad health, he gets really triggered and he needs nurturing and caring. Moon in Hasta for this guy. Remember these basic rules first, okay? So the 4-10 dynamic. Now, how does that play out? Let's explore that. Mrigashira in Gemini versus Hasta in Virgo, the 4-10 axis. So how does this play out? The core weaving will be Mrigashira in Gemini will have mental curiosity, questioning, movement, dialogue-driven bonding. Like I said, it's everything to do with talking. Mrigashira in Gemini needs to talk, to connect. You need a connection, isn't it? Adaptability, ideas exploration. She will love to explore ideas if she is a Mrigashira moon. And very sort of nervous energy. Why? Because it's Mercury driven. Mercury is everything to do with skin and nerves. So she will require a lot of touch and she will require a lot of communication to be seen in the relationship. Hasta, Virgo on the other side, is more grounded. It's an earth sign in Virgo. Hasta Nakshatra falls within Virgo. So he will be all about skill, about precision, about detail orientation. Be cautious about criticism, like I said. Service, reliability, practical care. Hasta Nakshatra is very, very practical in nature. Therefore, even they make good engineers. Emotional containment through action. Competence-based intimacy. So he will be, as a natural propensity, inclined towards detail orientation. So how he can fulfill her, in the sense, they have to have a mental connection here. One is mentally detailed, one is mentally curious. So there is a very good dynamic that could play out. It requires conscious effort. Like they say in English, it takes two to tango, isn't it? It's very true in case of even nakshatras. Traditional Jyotish would have you match 36 points and say these two are compatible. In this day and age, in 2025, such kind of blind rules do not apply. In my experience with couple counseling, it does not apply. It takes two to tango applies. In the sense, both parties should be willing, acknowledge it, and work through the system. Doesn't matter how many shadows you discover also. It's acceptance. Each one of us has shadows. But it's acceptance or allowance of that. Just allow the person to be who they are. That's it in its simplicity. So the 4-10 axis signature will be inner world versus outer function, mind versus method. Mind is Mrigashira, method is Hasta Nakshatra. Ideas, Mrigashira versus execution, Hasta Nakshatra, they can make excellent pair in these respects. This is the dynamic of the axis, 410 axis, when you talk of Mrigashira in Gemini and Hasta in Virgo. Moons, compatibility. Emotional safety versus responsibility. Nakshatra feels very responsible. Home base versus life direction. So she provides answers, curiosity questions, and he analyzes it with his mind. So the dynamic is two minds working together as one. Finally, we want to get to that. Finally, we want to get to how these two can play in a good way. The game is the same, intimacy. The game is to have a partner who's reliable, who can communicate with you, and you're working with them rather than against them. This is a functional intimacy axis. Closeness grows through doing life well together. Like I said, it's a partnership of cooperation when enhanced. Mrigashira stimulates, asks, and explores. Hasta organizes, fixes, and stabilizes. One is an air sign, one is an earth sign. It's that simple dynamic here. Keywords being mental stimulation, emotional grounding, problem solving bond. They are excellent problem solving couple, this one. Calm nervous system and mutual usefulness. Mrigashira always she will always think in terms of how can I be more close to him? What can I explore that he needs? If she is not having shadows of Rahu Ketu on that. So remember, if Rahu Ketu aspects this moon or Venus or Mercury, there is a little shadow there, and that needs to be worked through. It's not that it's unsolvable. Nothing is unsolvable in 2025. You have to work through it. Okay, remember this. Hasta becomes the emotional anchor, grounded sign. Mrigashira becomes the mental spark of curiosity. Attraction and intimacy tone here will assume these signatures: low drama, high trust, gradual attachment, practical affection, consistency over intensity. This is not the kind of relationship where you have high passions running around. It's all about engagement in a useful way. Sexuality improves with routine, refinement, and communication. Communication is very important for Mrigashira and Gemini, for her. She doesn't feel otherwise that spark, that chemistry, that sexual chemistry. Approach has to be through the mind. The risky keywords here being overanalysis, Hasta Nakshatra, too much overanalysis, micro-examination, fault-picking, nitpicking, OCD kind of fashion. That could be a risk on Hasta Nakshatra. Or even on Mrigashira's side, too much exploration, not enough grounding. Emotional dryness. See, Mercury and Saturn signs, it's a Gemini Virgo, both are dry signs. Okay, so are Saturn, Aquarius, and Capricorn. So you have to be careful how you deal with the dryness part of it. You've got to bring consciously an emotional quotient to this. Criticism versus restlessness, that could again be risky. Talking versus doing imbalance. Too much talking, not enough follow-up. Mind dismisses effort or effort policies curiosity. Effort policies curiosity, meaning from his side to her side. He's policing too much. He's examining too much details of her curiosity and being critical about it. Hasta Nakshatra people have to be very careful of being overcritical because nobody loves your criticism. Okay, take it to your workplace. Don't bring it home. This is a stability through function 410 pairing, excellent for long-term partnership, shared work, and emotional reliability. These two can build a business together very well, by the way. This is best for those who value mental engagement, practical care, calm, and capable intimacy. This is not ideal for those seeking high drama, intensity, or emotional chaos. So keep that in mind before you get into relationships. And this is more so in Navamsa rather than birth, because Navamsa is your intimate internal self. Match the Navamsa. Physical reality might show up in the natal, fine. Agreed. But at least you know where you are heading. You know the basic heading direction, isn't it? That's what we are looking for. Next, we shall take up Hasta Mrigashira Nakshatra to Revati. That is a 10-4 dynamic. I'll see you in the next. Take care.